to our Your 3 Cents this morning, and we want to know what other races you're watching this campaign season. Joshua questions the fact that there are other issues for this upcoming election.
Sam Banks wonders if the John Bradley campaign against Dave Severin will end well for Bradley.
Tom wants to know, with all the negative ads, he wants to see if incumbents will stay in office this election year. He would also like to see what local changes in leadership will come out of this election.
Lisa thinks that because of all of the negative ads and the way the candidates run their campaigns, it doesn't matter who gets into what office. She believes that the election as a whole is a joke.
And Mike tells us he'll be watching every race, both in the state and nationwide elections. He also says that people want term limits, but they don't want to vote out those who are already in office. Some very valid points made with those comments this morning. For our Your 3 Cents, we want to know what event you're most looking forward to, and here are some responses from Facebook.
Sam Banks says he's most excited for Shrimp Fest in Golconda because it's always a hopping time.
Joshua says he's going to go to a concert this weekend, adding that people need to start supporting more local music.
And Dan says that the Murfreesboro Apple Festival is always a blast.
And Tom says that he's most excited about co-emceeing the Women for Health and Wellness Conference with me. And Callie's going to be there too, doing a safety demonstration for self-defense for women.
Yes, so lots of fun, lots of stuff going on this weekend. Yep. It's hard to choose though, that's the hard part.
There's a lot of things to keep you busy for sure.
My favorite part about fall. Be sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/newsroom this morning, because every day we ask a question. You don't want to miss out on it. Stay with us.
Actually, 623 presidential candidates Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton met one last time before the election on the debate stage. The debate featured discussions on border security, abortion rights, and the fight against terrorism. It also featured Trump responding to accusations of sexual harassment and the GOP candidate refusing to say if he'll accept the election results amid claims that the election is rigged. Trump hit Clinton on her record as Secretary of State and her handling of relations with Russia. So that brings us to Your 3 Cents this morning, and we want to know if anyone is still undecided after all 3 debates.
And we also want to know why you're undecided, so we posted this question on Facebook. Sam Banks says the only thing he's undecided about is whether to vote for Hillary Clinton or Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson. He says he will never vote for Trump, but he's not sure if his morals will allow him to vote for Clinton.
And Charlie tells us that it's like trying to decide whether to burn your house down with gasoline or kerosene, the same results in the end. So
that takes us to Your 3 Cents this morning. We're asking what your favorite moments of last night's Emmys were.
Let's head on over to Facebook. We asked this question at facebook.com/news3 this morning, and Dan says the host Jimmy Kimmel was his favorite part of the show.
And Tom says this year seemed more about acting and less about popularity. Tom was happy to see Rami Malek win for his role in Mr. Robot.
Lisa says her favorite part was Jimmy Kimmel's mother handing out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with juice boxes.
And Sam Banks says The People vs. O.J. Simpson was excellent and deserved all the Emmys it won. He also says the kids from Stranger Things made the show for him. They performed Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk at the Emmys pre-show.
Very good. I didn't see that performance.
I don't think I did either.
They were actually pedaling around on bicycles, handing out the sandwiches that Jimmy Kimmel's mom made.
That's
7,000
hilarious.
Sandwiches. She had them stacked up. I don't know if she made all of them herself, but it was a funny little bit.
I love that. He's definitely keeps it alive. Keeps it alive and keeps you on your toes. Again, we do this every morning, Your 3 Cents. To get in on the action and get on the fun, head to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/news3 this morning. And be sure to click that like button so you can participate. Well, golfer Tiger Woods is delaying his return to professional golf.
The legend has been rehabbing an injury for more than a year and has been scheduled to return this week for the Safeway Open, but now he says he's sitting out of that tournament and another one that starts next month. Woods says his surgically repaired back is fine and he feels strong, but that hasn't stopped sports commentators from speculating that we've seen the last of Tiger Woods on the golf course. So that takes us to Your 3 Cents, and we are asking about Tiger's legacy.
We want to know your thoughts on the most prolific golfer in recent history. So we posted the story on Facebook, and here's how you responded. Angie simply says he's done.
And from Sam, we get Tiger transcended the sport of golf and inspired an entire generation of children to start playing, one of the greatest of all time.
David says Tiger's legacy as a serial cheater and sex maniac who destroyed his own family.
And Scott says nobody stays on top forever, but Tiger drew crowds, breathed life back into the game for TV, and made some of the most amazing shots of all time.
Joshua says Tiger is one of the greatest golfers to play the game, and he really wants to see him back on top against some of the new blood in golf today.
And I think that part of the reason Tiger has delayed his return is that he is not at the top of his game. It's 6:20 now, and the two major party presidential candidates met on the same stage for the first time last night.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton went after each other on several issues, including Trump's taxes and Hillary's stamina, along with the fight against ISIS and immigration policy. So, for your 3 cents this morning, we want to know your thoughts on the debate.
We asked for your reactions on Facebook, and here are a few of them. Sam says, in all seriousness, we're all doomed.
Billy says neither Clinton nor Trump persuaded anyone to change their votes, and in fact, it seemed like they were only catering to people who already made up their minds.
Lisa says Hillary was the same political machine she always was, and while Donald Trump may not have been so savvy at the debate, at least he's patriotic.
Maureen says Donald Trump always blames some sort of mechanical problem to his lack of winning, a reference to comments Trump made about the microphone not working at the debate.
And Matthew says there was a lot of hate in this debate. He says Trump changed, but there were a lot of sustainable interruptions. He also says Hillary was great, but she needs to reveal all of her deleted emails if she's going to call on Trump to release his tax records. As always, we want to hear from you. It is facebook.com/newsthroughthismorning. This is a sample of the comments. You can answer this question, go back and look at past questions, and participate in future ones.
Yes, we always have something exciting, and this is just debate one.
Thank you for that, Ashley. It's 6:22 now, and time for your 3 cents. Today, of course, is September 21st, and several stores, including some here in Southern Illinois, have started putting out Christmas decorations.
So we asked on Facebook, when is an appropriate time to start putting up holiday decorations? And here's what you said. Tara says she wishes stores would wait until November to put out Christmas stuff and wait until the current holiday has passed.
Lisa says that people should wait until after Thanksgiving, one holiday at a time, so it's not Happy, Merry, Hollow Thanks Christmas.
Tom says at the current rate, by 2024, Christmas will just be year-round. He also thinks the secret lobbyist group is behind all of this.
And Patty says Kohl's already has theirs up, and it's infuriating. She says she just started decorating for fall. What's next? Easter on the day after Christmas.
And Becky says she loves that they start this early, but her friend is usually with her when she spots them and usually rolls her eyes.
And Mike says Christmas decorations should go up after Thanksgiving, one holiday at a time, please.
And we have
Sonia,
and she says she doesn't want to see Christmas stuff until Black Friday.
Becky worked in retail and understands why the season starts so early. She tells us to just enjoy it because it's not going to change.
And Mary says just because stores have decorations out early doesn't mean that she has to have them up at home, but she does enjoy the beauty of the displays no matter what time of year it is.
And Dennis says that he already has his John Cena Christmas decorations up, but no one can see them. Haha, inside wrestling joke there, I guess. 22, and SpaceX founder Elon Musk is making some big predictions in the future of space travel.
During a speech in Mexico yesterday, Musk outlined his plan to establish a city on the planet Mars. He wants to make humans a multiplanetary species and says the best way to do it is to colonize on the planet. Musk says his company has already begun work on a Mars colonial fleet, which includes passenger ships that carry up to 1,000 people.
But it won't be easy, and Musk says the trip would be dangerous. His goal is to get the price down so anyone can afford to go, with a ticket costing no more than a house on Earth. He says he's shooting to put 1 million people on the planet and won't stop there. Musk says his colonial fleet could even take people to the moons of Jupiter and beyond. Some bold plans there.
Yes, and it says dangerous. Well, that takes us to your 3 cents this morning. We want to know your thoughts about living on Mars.
We posted this story on Facebook, and here are some of your reactions. Dave says, how much and where do I sign up?
A brave soul. And Sam says, Mars sounds good to him. He'll go if Kevin goes.
Sorry, not going to go. Dennis says he's okay with it. Colonizing another planet will happen eventually, and he'll go if you go, Alex.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think Kevin and I don't think we're that big of adventure
I don't
seekers.
think the TV reception is that good on Mars just yet, so.
Yeah, I won't even go skydiving, so I don't know if, that's too high for
Leaving
me.
the planet, yeah, probably not a good idea.
Yes, but I'm glad there's some adventure seekers out there. Be sure you go to our Facebook page every day. If you haven't liked our page yet, you're behind. It's facebook.com/news3 this morning, and you can participate in the discussion daily.
That's right. A controversial
Governor
CEO.
Jeb Bush is joining his brother and father in choosing not to endorse Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump.
Bush was a candidate in the Republican primary, but dropped out earlier this year. Bush suggested to attendees at a private luncheon yesterday to vote for Libertarian nominee Gary Johnson. Now, he did not confirm Johnson, that Johnson had his vote, but he says that he is going to vote for sure, just not for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. Now, sources close to his father, former President George H.W. Bush, says that the former president plans to vote for Hillary Clinton. So that brings us to your 3 cents this morning, and we are talking political endorsements and asking if they influence you.
So let's head on over, and Dennis says none whatsoever. It's his vote, and he's not going to let others vote for him.
Sam says he thinks it says a lot about Donald Trump when George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush are endorsing Hillary Clinton over their fellow Republican.
And Mike says that Chachi endorsed Donald, though, so that's a plus, right? Honestly, he says he doesn't care who endorses a candidate. If he doesn't agree with politics, he's not voting for them.
Andrew says the only celebrity vote he cares about is Kanye, saying he seems to have a solid grip on reality. And I don't think Kanye has come out with an endorsement yet, but plans to run in 2020.
Yes,
so.
him and Swift, right? Wasn't that the joke?
Well, yeah, he and Taylor Swift, yeah.
Yes, I know lots of celebrities, Hillary Clinton, they have a video of a lot of celebrities saying that, and then obviously the crew with Duck Dynasty is coming out saying, so, I don't know, we'll see how it affects the polls.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, though, is the political side. Do politicians influence you, which obviously our viewers are not influenced by that. So we want to hear from you, though. As always, every day we do the Your 3 Cents segment. It's facebook.com/news3 this morning. For that, actually, it's 6:24, and the final presidential debate is happening tonight between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
It's the last chance voters will get to see the two major party candidates on the same stage. Chris Wallace of Fox News will moderate tonight's debate at 8 o'clock right here on News 3. So, for your 3 cents, we're asking if there's anything either candidate can do to change your vote this late in the election.
We asked for your thoughts on Facebook. Here are a few responses. Kathy wants the candidates to start talking about how they will fix things with this country's economy. She also says smear campaigns are for high schoolers, not the leaders of our country.
Dave says either candidate should promise a utopian society, freedom from violence, $1 million to every voter. I agree with that one. And just are we still talking about the gorilla? Okay, and we will still be doomed.
Sam says there's absolutely nothing Trump can do to change his opinion of him except for conceding.
And Tom says he's actually voting for one that drops out first.
Mary tells us that she says nothing will change her vote at this point. So, as always, we want to hear from you. Head over to facebook.com/news3.
I don't think so either. So that brings us to your 3 cents today. We want to know what your favorite greasy foods are.
We posted the question on Facebook, and here's what some of you are saying this morning. Jerry says he likes a good old-fashioned Southern breakfast that includes fried eggs, hash browns, bacon, sausage, ham, and white milk gravy. He says he also gained 2 pounds just thinking about it.
Mona says she likes to have a donut with her coffee once in a while.
Dylan likes a good greasy burger with fried onions, either from White Castle or Five Guys.
I know that you're a White Castle fan.
Yes.
Mandy says she loves potato. What are these? I don't know.
Potato Olays.
Oh, from Taco John. I don't think I've ever had those.
They are quite tasty.
Okay.
Sam likes bacon and lots of bacon.
I'm with you, Sam. What's your favorite?
Bacon, the potato olays are good, greasy hamburgers.
Do tacos count as a greasy food?
Sure.
Or chicken nuggets, are those greasy?
Yeah.
Because we know chicken nuggets are high on my list, and tacos are probably a close second.
Yeah.
Oh man, it sounds good for breakfast. I know,
yes.
and the bacon sounds good. So be sure to like our Facebook page. The Southern Illinoisan has caused quite the controversy with an editorial cartoon published in the Sunday paper.
And the cartoon is pictured of an African-American man who was shot by police in Tulsa. That's Terrence Crutcher, who was killed earlier this month. Now, the quote from the police in the cartoon says his hands weren't up high enough. Some people have already chimed in on the Southern's Facebook page, and the mayor of Johnston City, Jim Mitchell, called the cartoon a terrible injustice to African Americans and police alike, saying, "You are fanning the very fires that could lead to a race war." And in our Your 3 Cents segment this morning, that's what exactly we are asking our viewers to get some reaction on this cartoon.
Yes, we had this on our Facebook page, and we wanted to see your reactions. Here they are. James says it's a total disgrace.
David says many political cartoons are meant to be edgy, but he says this one goes a bit too far. He says it's disrespectful to the majority of law enforcement officers who are out there doing their best in hard times.
And Brian says he guesses they want to totally destroy their newspaper. He adds that we have enough problems in the country right now without adding more fuel to the fire.
Jody says a newspaper finally stands up and posts something for the minority, and it's an issue. She says some people can't wait to see things like this just to have something to complain about.
And Sam says the backlash the newspaper is receiving is a shining example of the backwardness of our society as a whole. He says we would rather be upset about a comic book strip in the newspaper than the actual events that occurred to inspire the cartoon to be drawn in the first place.
Missy says that while people agree there is overt racism in our justice system, there are 1,000 different and more productive ways to express frustration. And we should note that this is a syndicated strip, a syndicated cartoon, editorial cartoon. It was not done by the Southern specifically, but it was published in yesterday's paper. So we want to hear from you. Head on over to facebook.com/news3thismorning and hit our like button so you can participate in further discussions.
The president brings us to your 3 cents this morning. We want to know your thoughts about this issue.
Do you think selfies in the voting booth should be legal or illegal? We asked the question on our Facebook page, and Tom says it's a sign of the times. Let's see if authorities actually try to enforce this law.
And Dylan says people don't need to prove they voted with a selfie, and they should be punished, adding that the I voted sticker is proof enough.
And Lisa says that one's vote is supposed to be a private thing. If someone wants to post a photo, they should do it outside and leave some things sacred.
Sam says he doesn't understand exactly why it's illegal anywhere, especially if the extent of a felony offense. He adds that he thinks it's dumb to take a selfie with your ballot, but it doesn't think that it should be illegal.
And Josh says if Justin Timberlake does it, it must be cool. We just need to trust Justin more. So we want to hear from you. Head on over to facebook.com/news3thismorning.
Yes,
and earlier, Ashley, it's 6:23 now, and Hillary Clinton has announced a plan to make college more affordable.
Clinton announced the plan yesterday during a campaign stop with Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire. She says after consulting with her former rival in the Democratic primary, she wants to make college free for kids and families that earn $125,000 or less. Clinton also says she's committed to helping those already with student debt to refinance that debt and have lower interest rates. So that takes us to our Your 3 Cents this morning. We want to know your thoughts on Clinton's proposals.
Do you like the plan? Do you think it's realistic? We asked on Facebook this morning, and here are a few thoughts. Diane says that she would rather have her tax dollars send to kids to go to school than go to war.
And Dennis says it seems like you get more and more these days by not wanting to work hard for it.
Sam thinks that Clinton's free tuition idea sounds fantastic and would help the country progress instead of regress. He also adds that student loans shouldn't cripple a person for life.
And Tom thinks the real question should be, why do you go to college? Adding that college prepares you for a variety of professions, but doesn't necessarily guarantee you a job.
Linda also says that people don't value things that don't cost anything. She says student debt is crippling, but college shouldn't be free. She also says college shouldn't cost more than $2,000 a year. So we invite you to head over to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/news3thismorning. Click that like button. We have this conversation every morning.
Yeah, with this, I'm really interested to find out more about it. Where is this money coming from? Are other people going to have to pay more for college? I'm interested to find out more. So definitely, I'm sure we'll hear about it in the upcoming weeks, and we might have another Your 3 Cents. So that brings us to Your 3 Cents. We want to hear from you. We want to know why people are so excited about this World Series compared to other ones.
Yeah, and we know we're in the heart of Cardinals country, but there are plenty of Cubs fans out there too. Sam Banks is not one of those Cubs fans. He says he's excited to watch the Cubs find a way to blow this one in monumental fashion. Hashtag no Cubs no, hashtag Cleveland rocks.
And Elisa says everyone loves an underdog comeback story, and you can't get more underdog than this. She says congrats to the Cubs and their fans, and she hopes they win. What a nice lady. I like her.
Yes. Delene Ashby says she actually owes her brother a Coke because he's a Cubs fan, and she never thought they would win the pennant.
And Tina says she's excited for the World Series, but she wishes former broadcaster Harry Carey was around to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game during the 7th inning stretch.
And Kelly Johnson says she's very excited. She used to be a Cardinals fan, but converted to the Cubs almost 30 years ago. She says the boys playing now have done such a terrific job and deserve to win the World Series, and so do all of the diehard fans.
Yes, and how do you have any feelings about this?
Well, this is a game of underdogs. Both of them have the longest streak. Of course, the Cubs have a longer streak, but then the Indians. So this is a game of underdogs, and I think you can't lose with both of these teams.
It's exciting, as I am a Cardinals fan, but this is an exciting, I love underdogs. That's, I think, the biggest thing. So it's like, you want them both to do well.
I'm
just
a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, and the Indians are our rival, but really, I think both of these teams deserve to win. You talk about teams that deserve to win. Anybody but the Yankees.
Agreed. We can all agree on that. I think everyone can agree that as long as it's not the Yankees.
Yeah.
Well, yes, thank you there, Ashley. And Ronald McDonald is keeping a low profile with reports of those creepy clown sightings. McDonald says it's being thoughtful in respect to the mascot's participation in community events. The fast food giant didn't provide any other details about how often Ronald McDonald will make appearances now. The decision comes after a rash of pranks around the country involving people dressed as eerie-looking clowns. Police have gotten involved in several of those cases. So that brings us to Your 3 Cents this morning, and we want to know your thoughts on this recent clown craze.
We have a link to the Ronald McDonald story on our Facebook page, and here's how some of you responded. Michael Bruce asks, for real?
And Nina says the clown situation is, quote, pathetic.
Sam Banks, frequent viewer, often commenter, says this entire situation makes his heart hurt for humanity. He says the fact people can get so worked up over something like this literally makes his head hurt.
And Dave says that he hopes the creepy clown situation doesn't cast shade on Tim Curry, who played Pennywise in the original adaptation of Stephen King's It.
And Tom Harness says Ronald McDonald always sparked positive and fun times for kids, for him as a kid, and that we could all use more smiles in our lives right now.
It is I wondered how soon it would take to get to Ronald McDonald, because obviously probably the most famous clown out there, so it's a weird situation to say the least.
Well, and it's a shame because Ronald McDonald does so many good things too. Makes you happy when you eat the food, but also there's the Ronald McDonald House and a great charity there. And it's a shame that now people are casting negative connotation with that.
Hopefully people can just separate the two and still continue to donate and support the Ronald McDonald House.
You follow that very well, because I see you with your little nuts up here. Your almonds.
Let's specify there. Let's specify.
He got choked on one yesterday, and I thought he wasn't going to be able to
need a
continue to do the news. So.